Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing a little break from our Let's Play and our normal speed builds, and I will be renovating the Lighthouse Museum. I think it's called Deadgrass Discoveries in Brindleton Bay. And first, when it comes up, we're just gonna do a quick little regular motion tour of what it looks like. So I had already done a small renovation for the Let's Play sake so that our sim could bring her baby here. And after I did this little play corner, I realized that I actually hated the rest of this build in general. Just everything. I even added a little coffee corner over there with a mini fridge and everything. I thought that was a really nice little addition right there, but I just hated everything else about this. Now the exterior I'm okay with. Exterior is totally fine, but like why? What is with this? What is with the wheel in the middle of the room first of all when you enter? I just don't get it. So what I did is I came in here, I took all of those absurdly annoying lights out. I moved all of the paintings, the big table sculpture. I wanted to put them back, but I wanted to redo this. The whole thing is just not right. I think this room is too big in general downstairs, and just the way everything was situated, including that office and these bathrooms. Everything's just off to the one side and squished and just doesn't look very nice. All the continuous wallpaper is the same color. That window is going into the office space. I don't understand. Like the computer lab, I guess that was, a little library, and the long hallway off to the side before you come up to this empty room up top. Clearly this is before we had the rounded rooms, and I said, well, that's just no good. We gotta change this up here. So I put a platform up top and I added my rounded room that I had already made off camera. It gave me a lot of trouble. It really did. So I was fiddling with that for a while, and also with the roof pieces. I did finally decide on a good roof pattern and a good roof piece arrangement, I think, for this build. At first I was even thinking about doing more of a barn roof style, but it just wasn't coming together the way I wanted. So I figured we would just leave it at that. And then I shortened that roof piece there, which gave me the idea of, oh hey, I need to make that room downstairs smaller anyway. So we should do that. And that is why I went ahead and shortened that room, as you'll see right there. And then I had to fix the rest of the roof pieces. There was a lot of roofing difficulty with this. I'm not going to say that it was necessarily difficult. Actually, it wasn't necessarily difficult, but it was challenging. It was challenging. It gave me a little bit of trouble. I had to repeat this roof piece again. I just made it a replica of the other side because it was giving me a weird angle. And then I had to make everything bigger. Like I said, it took me a while. I think eventually I got it though. And then I think I just saved that roof piece from the top of the lighthouse and I moved it back up top at the end because I actually liked that roof piece. I thought about moving that little bay window over, but I decided against it because it doesn't really need it. And I did keep the same wallpaper in the main museum area where all the paintings are. I didn't mind that so much. I thought that was a nice tone and a nice combination of paneling and paint color, but I just needed it to be brighter, and I needed things to be rearranged in a way that they made sense. So here I am finally moving those paintings back in here, also those ugly display tables. I put the what is that called? It's not a steering wheel. Oh, I forget. Anyway, it's the boat steering wheel that I know has an actual name and I can't think of it at the moment. I moved that onto the front deck, facing out to the bushes and the view of the water. I thought that just made more sense. Like maybe you could take like a nice photo opportunity. I don't know. I thought that looked nicer. And then I rearranged the paintings and I put this nice little painting light. It's like a display light. I believe it's an unlockable with the painting career, or could be the photography career. I'm not 100%. But I put that above the the paintings. I thought that made more sense also in that fancy gold color. Now for these little boats, I like them a lot, and I wanted to put them on a display. And at first I thought maybe using these two ornate looking tables might be nice. I think they're base game. I tried to fiddle with them for a little bit. Ultimately, I just didn't like the way they look, and that little tugboat is just so funny. So I didn't like the way that looked. Instead, I decided to move the boats over to this side. Hey, so pardon the pause right here. I'm gonna fill this empty space with me talking. I had a little technical difficulties. Back to it. Sorry, I had a little bit of technical difficulties. I didn't have my computer plugged in and it died. Resuming what we started. I put the tugboat on top of that one pedestal, and I kept that other pedestal blank because I ended up putting shelves on that side wall. So I just rearranged the paintings over here, moved this guy over, and added another light. And here I decided on these ornate shelves that kind of matched the idea of the original tables I was going to go with. Not this one. That's the country kitchen kit counter, which I did think about, but this one that came with base game, I think it's called like underrated underwater shelf or something, and it just kind of made sense. It does look like a shelf with a seashell on it, so if you're going with the nautical theme, can't beat that. And they did update it recently. It has relatively recently, so it has some pretty swatches versus that old weird purple toned wood. Ugh, God. Anyway, they updated that a little bit ago, I guess maybe like a year or so ago. But I really enjoyed those boats on that shelf, and then I put this cats and dogs barnyard lamp on either side. I like the warm tone it gives off, and it does tie in a little bit more of a nautical theme. These curtains are base game also, and normally I think they're very ugly, but they fit in here because it's like they're trying to be fancy, but also those are just the same old curtains from forever ago, you know, because they did a little renovation of the museum, but they had a very small budget, so really they could only account for, small changes, and window treatments just weren't in the budget. Let's just put it that way. That was my idea. I had a little fun with the tool mod, just sizing down the curtains a little bit, and then I completely got rid of those two little curtains, moved the paintings around over here, and sized down a big curtain. Now here in the middle, after I rearranged the lights, I thought I liked the idea of the seats being in like the middle of the room and looking to either side of the room, but I also like the idea of a half wall down the middle of the room with like that nice cap piece that came with, I think, Dine Out, like the slats on the top. I thought that would look cool, like maybe like a boat or something. So I wanted to throw that in there. First I had to find a swatch of this couch that I liked. And at first I thought I liked this darker blue with the very dark wood accent. Again, base game couch. I normally don't like this one. Like I said, it worked for this build. So there's a lot of things I used in here that I don't usually go for. But for this style of build, and here in Brindleton Bay with the nautical theme, they actually worked really, really well. I was pleasantly surprised. So here's that cat piece on the half wall I was talking about. And I went with white to kind of brighten it up at first, but I didn't like that in the end. But I did change the couch color to this more cream tone to kind of match the drapes. Thought that worked out pretty nicely. And then I thought to add a little end table between each couch would make sense, because you could maybe like maybe you brought a notebook or something if you're a student and you're studying art. Put your notebook down on the side while you're observing the painting, take your notes. Thought this little light from the new pack, the Growing Together pack right here. It's the retrofitted brass fishing lantern. I thought, well, how perfect is that? And it just is so pretty. I really, really like that one. So I threw that in here. I haven't used that yet in any builds, so that was exciting. And I just wanted to kind of spruce it up a little, so I just threw in some greenery. I used the same plant 4 times in the same orientation, basically. But I thought that it worked well for here. Like I said, like they had a small budget. They bought a couple things in bulk and just kind of repeated it, like these lights. I really love those. I actually use those a lot. Those I do use. Now in here, had to get rid of some ugly windows and replace them with different ugly windows. When I say ugly, I don't actually mean that they're ugly, but I personally don't like them. I don't use them very often, but I wanted to keep it cohesive with the build. So I did change that couch swatch, and then I changed the wallpaper in here to be more bright. I wanted to keep the wood tone the same, but just brighten it up a little. And then these same table and chairs that came with the original build, just change the swatch, move that painting up, because why was it in the middle of the wall? I don't know. And then I think the trim on the stairs, I changed to just like a white tone again, brighten up the room a little bit, match the archway frame, and then I added some tables and chairs out here too. Now I did take away the little bar area that was originally here, but I thought it made more sense to have like a coffee station downstairs. So it just, if you're bringing your children here, it's a good excuse to get coffee. Just saying. Any excuse is a good excuse to get coffee. Here's more fiddling with roof pieces. This ever-evolving challenge. I've been trying to use roof pieces in a more systematic way. And by that I mean like I've been trying to use them together in a way that makes the shape I want without a lot of choppy pieces. So here I did this, and I thought it actually merged together pretty nicely, but I had to have the one piece slightly longer, obviously. There we go. And that worked really nice. And for once in my life, I actually went to copy and paste the trim for the roof, and it actually worked with the eyedropper tool. It never works for me, but it worked in this case, which you'll see, and I was very surprised at that. There it is. Look, oh, it worked. It never does that for me, but it did in this case. So I added another half wall out here, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, if I just wanted to put some plants or some statues or something. It is quite an awkward, like skinny space. But then I thought, well, I need to put easels in here somewhere. It is a lot requirement for the museum. So I thought maybe out here we could put the easels, and like I said, it's an awkward and skinny space, but you do get quite a few good views, and you can always move the easels around. Like, they don't have to stay out here. I even thought maybe putting some down on the lower deck would be good as well, but I didn't do that. But you can always do that if you download this. Again, my name on the gallery, in case you are unaware, is Miss Chris Builds, same as my Instagram and my YouTube channel. Tried to keep everything cohesive. Now here I decided in this corner we were just going to add some plants. I had to mess around with them and get them all lined up straight, and obviously they're kind of floating behind the half wall there, but I do fix that with the Desert Luxe end table block thing, and I just line them up like that, and it happened to work perfectly, where they seem like they're just resting on top. Once you put the roof pieces up, can't even tell. I really enjoyed that a lot. Now here I have moved on to the hallway and the bathrooms. I decided on this bathhouse blues for the tile for the bathrooms. I don't know, bathhouse, boathouse, boats, nautical theme. It clicked in my head for me. And I used the cats and dogs toilet. Sink, I think I just used, I used the cats and dogs sink as well, the sink and pedestal, like vanity looking doohickey. And here's the new mirror from the Growing Together expansion pack. Lowered it down a little bit with tulle just so that it wouldn't block the window, because I wanted to keep those windows where they were, but I knew that I wanted to add the mirrors. The camera keeps jumping around as I zoom in and out because I'm on that weird second floor, but there's a third floor and there's roofing issues. For some reason the camera just does not ever want to stay still. Once you go past the second floor, especially if there's a third and a roof and a platform anywhere or a half wall anywhere, it doesn't want to work. And also keep in mind, these bathrooms aren't actually, like, they are rooms, but as you see when I put the tile on the bathroom, the back bathroom walls where that paneling was, it painted that roof trim, the roof piece exposed, had that same wallpaper on it. So technically That's not a real room. I know, it's strange, but that's why it looks so funny. And that's why the camera wants to jump around, because it thinks I'm not in a room. But anyway, that's just simple bathrooms, nice paper towel holders, trash can in each bathroom. My handy dandy filler plants, as I call them. Put those in the hallway there, and then I decided nice little seating area over here would be nice. Maybe you're waiting in line for the bathroom. Maybe you're waiting for your turn to go up to the lighthouse section, because it's only so big of a room. So maybe it's like to keep up to code, you can only allow so many Sims up there at one time. I don't know. That's what I'm going with. So they need a little sitting and waiting area upstairs. That was the plan. And then I really wanted to throw in a bunch more paintings up here. I couldn't decide on any. It took me a while. I actually cut out a lot of footage. But then I decided on these architectural concepts and also these jazzy base game photos. I thought those would add a nice little pop of color up here. And I think that one in the middle may very well be from Cats and Dogs, although it could also be from paranormal stuff. I know that little selection of paintings there is from either that one is from Growing Together or the next one is. No, that one is from paranormal stuff. The next little gallery wall piece that I pick out is from Growing Together. And I put them together in such a way they look like they are all one collection of multiple paintings. I thought that looked nice. And here I did a double door into the computer lab / library. Oops. Grabbed a bush by accident when I put that circular room downstairs. I know, so weird. So that's what I did there so far. Now moving on to the outside. That roof trim, because circular rooms. That's the only thing I can say. I do end up fixing that a little bit later. You can't really fix it, but you can hide it or mask it in a way that you can't really tell it's there. So that's what I ended up doing. These windows up here are from Cats and Dogs. Also, they're the same tall windows from the gallery section downstairs. And I just put them all the way around. Like, I assumed that even though they clip a tiny bit, it doesn't really matter. Here's that roof piece that I grabbed before. Just throwing it up here, resizing. I had to move the turret piece a little bit so it actually looked sunken down. I really like the way that turned out. And I used tool mod to rotate so that the weather vane would be facing out, so you could actually see the little kitty on the moon. I thought that was so cute. Such a cute touch. One of my favorite tiny little pieces from Cats and Dogs that I don't use very often, and I really should. And here I was trying to figure out, what do I do up here? Do I do a fence? Well, it wouldn't let me. See, it wouldn't let me. And it wouldn't let me do a half wall. So I dove into debug. My southern came out there for a second. And I grabbed the Cats and Dogs debug wrought iron fence and just threw all the pieces up here like this in such a pattern. I do go back in and straighten them out off camera, but I was trying to get this together while my kids were sleeping or napping, so I didn't have a whole lot of time in my hands. Figured as long as I get it up there, then I'll know when I come back I need to straighten that out. So, make a little note to myself. It's kind of how we do things around here. Notes on notes on notes. And did that, and then I believe I move on to, yes, I see I got rid of that itty bitty roof trim piece and decided to throw in this, not this awning because it's too small, but the bigger size awning from Cats and Dogs. I struggled for a little bit to find the swatch that I wanted to use, so you'll see I'll like zoom in and change the lighting, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going to work here. But eventually I do decide, I think, just on the white and gray, and I had to use tool to size it up a little bit, move it around, make it make sense, all the good things. I'm so happy I kind of sort of have my voice back now. It's still not perfect, but I was on the struggle bus for a while there. It was not fun. It was really not fun. These darn kids were not helping. To repeat myself a million times a day. So the office space. Anywho, we got I did the double 3 window situation right there. And then I didn't want another balcony piece over here. I decided, at first I was thinking I did, but changed my mind. So I closed it in with another roof piece, and I just wanted to make it match the same pitch as this piece right here. That worked out well, so then I shortened it and copied the same trim. See, look, and now I'm trying to get the roof trim and it won't work, so I had to find it myself. Very frustrating. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes it doesn't work. It just doesn't find it for me. But that didn't take me too long to find, so that's good. And closed off that back space, took a quick look around, moved that window up. I just don't know why it was there in the first place. It should have been up. And then instead, I needed this room to have more light, so I tried to center the windows. But even though they look centered on the outside, on the inside they clearly are not. I figured having them centered on the inside made more sense. So that is what I did there. I could have just left them separate now that I think about it. Anywho, so here we are back after bedtime. Put flower boxes outside to hide the empty bits. And then I added in some curved pieces of sectional couch in the lighthouse section and that beautiful hanging ceiling light. I never use it. I don't normally like it, but for a lighthouse, I think it kind of works. I was trying to complete the sectional couch on that side, but I just wasn't. I didn't want everything to clip in and be silly, and that just stuck out way too far. So, in the end, I believe I put a plant on one side. I put some plants on the walls as well. These little wall sconce plant thingies. I don't know what you call them. Hanging vases, maybe? And this ficus, I think it is, or potted palm, should I say? Yes, it's a potted palm. Put that up there. And then a nice little table. It kind of looks like a board on top of two sawhorses, which I like. So I put that there. It matches the wood tone on that couch actually really, really well, but also brings in the dark tones of the windows. And I use a light that I don't get to use ever. It just doesn't go, but this is the best excuse to use it, and it is this little lighthouse table lamp. I just love it. And a little stack of books. This is a lovely little reading area, and then I assume that this little placard piece was like information on the lighthouse, or maybe other resources where you could visit maybe other lighthouses in the area. And this book I just assumed was like the guest book, if you want to sign that you've been here, and it'll go into their logs that they've been keeping since the lighthouse was functional. I thought that was a nice little idea. Now, back into this hallway, I was like, nope, gotta change the wall color back to what it was and add these lights. And then when I added the lights, I realized that the paintings weren't lined up properly. So had to do that. And I knew that this section needed a little bit more. I just didn't know what. So that took me a second to kind of figure out. I think what I ended up doing was, so I put more of these historical looking paintings underneath the architectural concepts. Then I changed direction and moved into the library/computer lab. Now you'll notice the camera's jumping around and I'm having a lot of trouble placing stuff. You can vaguely see that rounded roof piece peeking in from the top. If I went and did the walls up, that's what it looked like. If I did half wall up view, that didn't happen. It was very strange. Very strange indeed. Why does this game do what it does? I have no idea. It's like releasing an update and then you get a new bug with the update. Anywho, so here's the little computer lab section. 2 little desks from cats and dogs to match. And then I decided to keep that sectional couch thing going down here. Again, maybe they bought it in bulk. It was easier to get all the pieces and then put the square ones down here in the square corner. So this could be like another waiting area to get upstairs or just a little sitting area to read. Who knows? But I put some more pictures. Those are actually pictures of Brightchester, so they came with Discovery University. And these are little hand sanitizer wall pieces, but I assume they're like hand soap, automatic hand soaps. And we forgot the toilet paper in here, which was a problem. So I placed some of these. These are the base game toilet paper. See, everything's jumping around. These are base game toilet papers, and I used the gold swatch because I just like the way that looked. And then I jumped back in here because I needed a rug. And I haven't had the opportunity yet to use this new rug from Growing Together, but I really liked the colors. I liked the yellow and blue and the fancy kind of pattern, but then I knew I needed to change the wallpaper. I went with the cats and dogs striped wallpaper with wood paneling. I thought that looked really, really pretty in here. And 2 little simple plants. I figure they don't want too much in that room because if you're near computers, you don't want a lot of junk on the computer desk, or you don't want people bringing food up there. Oh, heck no. So, didn't want that. I did want some more decoration in the hallway. I put up those fishing nets. There's a bunch of them on the front porch area. And that little corner shelf that also, I think, came with cats and dogs. And this little end table right here that came with cats and dogs. And this cute little dog and baby puppy statue. I thought that was so cute. More lights, and then I think we will be heading into screenshots. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today, and keep an eye out for this build on the gallery. It should be up soon. I might make a couple small changes after I get done playtesting, but it will be in our next episode of Growing Together, which should be up on the channel in a day or 2. So look out for that, and thank you again for being here with us. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!